Hey, what's up, guys? The third series of Darkness Epoch, the Coyote Kid. Of course, I know some of you are thinking, "Oh, wow, your art looks really good." This is from probably a decade ago, so we need to get back into action here. Um, it's amazing, but the Coyote Kid was. I wanted to do something different. Of course, the ideas of vampires ruling humanity, of course, is always intriguing to me. But I said, you know what? Like Matt Wagner stuff, like the Devil's Reign, where the vampires are kind of like, I wouldn't say an oppressed minority, but they're sort of, not in power and an insurgency, trying to fight around the humans, use sneakiness, and of course their ability to increase their numbers. I thought it'd be interesting to do the opposite and set it in the Southwest. When you think of like the Southwest vampire subgenre, which is I'm making up John Carpenter's vampires, near dark, um, a couple others you could think of, from Dusk Till Dawn, which I'm not. I like the third film, but I said the idea of the Coyote Kid, making him kind of like this messiah character for the oppressed vampires. This, of course, ancient pre-revolution vampire made in the '80s. He's like an '80s kid, and in the Southwest, he's like a legend. Like an outlaw vampire who becomes a sort of a messiah for his people. Of course, he doesn't think he is. You got the characters like, once again, you have the mostly vampire cast. She's one of the asylum villains in the first series, who then becoming a vampire, I guess, makes her not crazy anymore, or I guess crazy in a different way. She becomes a main character rather than like sort of like a side gimmick punching bag character for the mega nurse. I like to do things like that. Obviously, this character was created by actually somebody, an online friend of mine was suggesting characters and came up with her. But anyway, just the idea of Medicala. She's obviously an Atslan, newly turned human, who falls in love with the kid. So all these women love the kid, but you get this character here, actually a vampire who serves humans. The humans are, you could say, the villains in this, but you know me, man. So, unlike this real world where the villains seem pretty clear to me, in the comic world there's more nuance. In this character here, like a cyborg gunman type character, like the Terminator. Of course, if you remember Mospeada, Robotype New Generation, Dusty Airs, right? Rainy Boy. This character, I figure, a cyborg, also someone from the first series, but you don't realize it as first. And this character, very interesting vampire, basically a slave catcher for the human empire that rules. Anyway, however, and who's this? Of course, the old ones start to appear more and more, and this leads into the end of the Darkness Epoch generation, and goes into the later our passing reign. AI, it's not our passing ring, it's our passing reign, as in REIGI. But anyway, it's funny looking at the AI summaries of the videos I make, the little mistakes that these artificial intelligence seems to make. So, but I'm thinking of revising the character. I'm thinking of the Coyote Kid. I have enough friggin' vampire characters. Saying the Anne Rice friggin' universe. So I was thinking maybe of making the kid an actual lycanthrope. Now you think of the Lycans from Underworld, but if you remember Larry Talbot from the Wolfman films, he was immortal. Especially remember the second film proves that he was immortal. Right? And you think of the Howling. Of course, the werewolves are almost impossible to kill even in their human form. And I was thinking doing the same with him. Of course, as he older lycanthrope at this point in history, he could also turn at will. So he would definitely be able to still match the power of what the original character would have been as a vampire, more than the average, and still make him help the vampires out as a fellow outcast. So I'm thinking of actually changing him into a lycanthrope. But is it a werewolf or a were coyote? I guess that's something to think about. So you're not gonna get no furry stuff here, though. Don't worry. All right, now here's a sample page. I remember like about 10 years ago, I was like, let's make a sample page of each series as if it was in the middle of the thing. But there are no other pages. This is just like an imaginary page, I guess you could say. You can see it in this area of the country. The humans rule, and the vampires are slaves. You see them using their great strength to work in the mines, but obviously they're controlled by these collars. Right? Isn't that that's like an X-Men type, cliche? And as they're working, they're being taught, you vampires are guilty. This is your penance. You deserve this. You must repay the debt to your victims. Oh, white vampire privilege. Oh, did I say white? Sorry. I mean vampire privilege. Now, of course, the irony was that the vampires are all different kinds of races. And of course, the humans mostly in this area, as you can imagine, they're Hispanic. Oh. So you can see how the I always wanted to say, like in Devilman, if you remember the manga, when the demon war happens and you have the humans versus the demons, with many humans sort of infected with the demons or mixed with them, you see how cruel humanity was in that war. They almost worsened the demons. Well, I wanted to show that here as well. So, and this one here, come on, weakly, lift it. Yeah, like you couldn't lift it. I've been slacking with you fang faces. The party's over, no more. So, and this character here, actually was going to become part of the cast. He was one of these guys. And I guess he got, unfortunately, every now and then they grab, the vampires could get somebody, and they got him, and they threw him in the mines with show how freaking cold-hearted they are. So, but he becomes a character later. So, she was only turned 2 weeks ago. What did your bosses expect? Leave her alone. I give the orders now. Yeah, can you imagine? And then they see this guy. What? Who the? Morales, look at this fang face. Get back to work. Who is this? Who is this worker? Who is this slave over here? Of course, you see the guy, I like to burn the mills. And she's like, yeah, she's cool with that. So, except that, where's his collar? Oh, that's it. You humans you're in trouble now. You're messing with the Coyote Kid. Of course, the idea that I'm kind of going to make him a lycanthrope. So, it might change this a little bit, but not really. As a shapeshifter, he'll be able to shift at will. He'll have fangs and everything too, and he'll be immortal. And he'll basically be like a vampire, you could say. So I'm still just trying to think if he should be a werewolf or a coyote. I'll probably make him a coyote, and he's not going to turn into a coyote. He's going to be like a superhuman, a hybrid. So I guess I'm gonna have to learn how to draw furries now. You believe that? Anyway. But there's one more little page I want to show real quick. All right, real quick. This is an old drawing I did, a little more cartoony, sort of tying in the complicated universe I had done. This is the vampire revolution time in between the first and second generations. So you see the president's a woman, right? October 3rd, 2046. The day vampires revealed their existence to the world. So these two characters here. Actually, an online friend had come up with these characters. Two proper British women vampires, very polite, and they don't kill anybody. You can see the president, though, just in case the Secret Service is ready. But this was the day where, and of course, I've become a tad more cynical since this time. And so the vampire is going to be a little more active behind the scenes. And you see the reaction on the other characters I've had. Of course, the Silent Girls Club. This is probably one of the main characters in her. And her boyfriend, who's another character. You see the son. Right, 20% of all vampires are British. Of course, that's a homage to Hammer. You see MSNBC, vampire oppression, Republicans' fault. And of course, there's the V word of inappropriate. Of course, Fox is like, Christians accept vampires. Okay? Of course, this is so many years ago. For some reason, who is this? This is the character I played in the horror classic Nosferatu generation. If you remember the the commentary vid I did of the film I did in 2007. There's just a few other things. You see, obviously, these are the vampires that are gonna take control. Right? These are alien vampires linked with these old one things that are coming back to Earth. Okay, they don't get to Earth though till the third series. Okay? This is the British character, of course, in the first series. Everyone thinks she's crazy, so she's in, with all the other asylum characters. So, but they're all watching the TV, right? But there's no such thing as vampires. So, I forgot who this character was. She's another vampire that's in the asylum. I don't know why, but there's the Coyote Kid, right? So he sees this too. So you see how they have different reactions to this. I don't know. Actually, this was, if I remember the story, they did this to kind of get to the humans first before they did, to try to, obviously have a more ordered sort of relationship with the world. Of course, you see these characters in the art I did in the Vampire State. These are the ones that were having the bickering with this guy here. Anyway, so I thought it'd be funny just to show this stuff. And this is a character too that who's in the second generation. She's actually a character from the Golden Age. Character I showed you. So you're thinking, wow, you got a huge universe. A lot of talk, mister. Where are these series? Yeah, I know. They're coming. Come hella high water.